Another Disney live-action remake? Did Lilo and Stitch do well this time? Or did this movie kind of fall into the same tropes as all the most recent Disney live-action adaptations? Let's talk about it. That is right. Lilo and Stitch hits theaters this weekend. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year because Lilo and Stitch, I think, could work well in live action when you're committing to CGI looking kind of similar to the actual characters we had throughout in Stitch and even the aliens in this movie. Fully bought into this world. I love that element. I wish we got more of the aliens in this movie and less of the human counterparts, but Stitch was flawless. Stitch felt like Stitch for most of the movie, and that's probably the best thing I can say about Lilo and Stitch. The other great thing I could say is the movie, I think, finishes in a spot that is the magic that makes the first one good. Is the Ohana, is the Hawaiian culture and that Hawaiian family value that works out. The downside is, though, is I feel as they do for so many of these live-action adaptations, they feel like they have to check mark parts off of the old original movie into the new movie, and it causes like a fluctuation of like things that don't translate well onto live action that work better in animation. And it also doesn't develop the characters well because a voice actor is able to, reach character elements through the tone and through their voice a whole lot more than generic actors can in a live action setting. And that's where Lilo and Stitch has the most issues in the first third, maybe even the first half of the movie. When you're trying to figure out who Lilo and Nani is and kind of get their family dynamic and get the importance of Nani being at risk of losing Lilo to Child Protective Services, it feels very just rigid, clunky, and like it's like a bunch of gears that aren't oiled up, so they're kind of like stuttering every now and then. They're getting the job done, but it's like, it's like kind of like that. And I'm not gonna fault the actors on this one. This just feels like a pretty lazily put together script, and I think it even hurts more when you have the aliens, hiding as humans, and even played by Zach Galifianakis, and I forget the other actor, and they just didn't fit the tone of the movie for me and what I was hoping to get. The Ohana and the family message I don't think came soon enough. They spent so much time with Lilo and Stitch being destructive and Lilo and Stitch basically making life terrible for Nani, who's just trying to keep a hold of her sister, that I just think that the movie struggles for a lot of parts. What is good, though, is the chemistry between Stitch and Lilo, and the young actress involved in this movie, and Stitch himself with the animation makes it a good time. There's going to be a lot of laughs. If you're looking to watch this with young kids, I think they're going to have a great time with this, but it still just has the stiffness of some of these live-action adaptations where they don't just write a plot and a movie out and let it flow naturally. They're trying to tent pole down things you knew from this movie, tent pole things you knew down from that movie, and it doesn't translate as well as a base script like this. You can't just make a carbon copy and it feel perfectly the same. I'm looking at you, Lion King. So yeah, this movie has some mixed bags for me. Again, the comedy, I think, worked decently well, and the ending and the heart in the ending really brought this movie up a lot better. We eventually got to that relationship between Stitch with Lilo and with Nani, and the connection that Nani really had with Lilo really bled through to the end, and it allowed this movie to succeed a whole lot more than I was worried about in the first third of the movie, which is why I'm giving this a pretty solid gold rating. I think if you're looking forward to Lilo and Stitch, you should go check it out in theaters because I think you're going to really enjoy this. But I don't think this goes above and beyond anything more than just a basic adaptation, and it doesn't have quite that original Disney magic that you had around the first Lilo and Stitch. Doesn't mean that it's not a bad movie, doesn't mean that it's not going to make a lot of money and people might enjoy it, but it's still just clunky and it can't give itself a script that just feels smooth from beginning to end. And I think that's been my biggest issue with these remakes, these last few, because it just feels like they're not having that smoothness. They're not allowing it to be its kind of own story like you had with, say, The Jungle Book, and even, in my opinion, the Beauty and the Beast remake. But that kind of digresses me here. Are you going to go check out Lilo and Stitch this weekend? Do you like this live-action adaptation? Have you seen it? Tell me all that in the comments down below. Like and subscribe as movie season moves on here in the next couple weeks. How to Train a Dragon live action's coming up. Ballerina looks like a great trailer that came out here. F1, Jurassic World. So many great movies coming out here soon. So like and subscribe to the channel. And I can't wait to watch you more and talk with you more in the comments down below.